Flag and the green light. They're on the move. We're into these two preliminary laps. Mark Litchfield is on pole position and Ed Brand joins him on the front row. Harry Webb and Charlie Eastwood row 2. Philip Maureen and Martin Henkel-Mortensen row 3. Kyle Fowley and Ollie Myers row 4. And the top 10 completed on row 5 by the Aussie Pierce Lehane and Luke Varley. And Mark Litchfield getting a very good start. He's followed through immediately by Harry Webb. Just having a look at the guy who's gone grass tracking. I can't identify who that is. But Mark Litchfield and Harry Webb definitely getting a good start. Ed Brand not quite where he wanted to be, coming off the off-pole position on the front row. That third place driver looks to me like Philip Maureen, and it is. And Mark Litchfield is being challenged for the lead by Harry Webb, and Harry Webb takes the lead at an early stage. So Harry Webb 1, Mark Litchfield 2, Philip Maureen 3, and Ed Brand in 4th place. 5th is cart number 225, which is Kyle Fowley. Warning board is coming out for Nicholas Tihonen. Well, Nicholas Tihonen is well down the top 30, closer to 30th than 20th, but he's picking up a driving standards flag. Harry Webb completes the opening lap, pursued by Mark Litchfield. Ed Brand, having got himself into 3rd place, looking to consolidate. Ed Brand bids to take the lead. Oh my, but it's Mark Litchfield, I think, who turns it. No, it was Ed Brand who's made that move. Cart number 202 looking over, and Mark Litchfield going back in front and Philip Maureen going with him, and it's a slow race, if you know what I mean. Mark Litchfield 1, Philip Maureen goes into the lead. Well, we've seen so many changes of place and a little bit of finger wagging. Harry Webb goes into 3rd past Ed Brand, who goes 4th. So Philip Maureen of Sweden 1. He's being passed by Mark Litchfield. Mark Litchfield going through into the lead once again. So Mark Litchfield, who started on pole position, is in the front, but he's had a very, very tortuous route on his way to the end of lap 2. Mark Litchfield leads. Philip Maureen in 2nd place. Harry Webb in 3rd. Ed Brand in 4th place. Staying with those front-running 4 because they are just a tiny little bit detached from Charlie Eastwood in 5th place. That's not to ride off Charlie Eastwood. And Philip Maureen is back in front. Harry Webb in 2nd place. Ed Brand doing some late braking. Mark Litchfield got himself into 3rd place now. Kart number 234, Charlie Eastwood, is in 4th place. 217 picking up a driving standards flag. That's Maxi Weinzel. But Philip Maureen kicking on from here. Philip Maureen suffering from a very, very nasty ear infection, which can't have been at all pleasant. Can't say it's affecting his driving because he's had a stunning race in just about every day. Yellow flags vigorously waved for an incident I didn't see. As Philip Maureen kicks on in front of Ed Brand 2nd, Mark Litchfield 3rd, Charlie Eastwood 4th, Harry Webb 5th. Just a little bit behind those front-running 5. That's Kyle Fowley in 6th place. Martin Hentel-Mortensen. Oh, and one of our front-runners getting himself out of shape there and losing places. I think it might have been Charlie Eastwood. Just let me try and keep my eyes on that guy. It was indeed Charlie Eastwood who drops down towards the lower end of the top 10 now. Philip Maureen 1, Ed Brand 2, Mark Litchfield 3. Then there's a little bit of a gap. But Philip Maureen had a lead of half a second. Well, in one sense, that's nothing. But in the other sense, it's worth having rather than a deficit of half a second. Ed Brand beginning to pile the pressure on a little bit harder. 2nd place for Ed Brand. 3rd place for Mark Litchfield. 4th place for Harry Webb. 5th place for Kyle Fowley. Over the Litchfield Bridge. And Philip Maureen continues to hold this advantage in kart 206, but continues to be pressed by Ed Brand, and Ed Brand bids to take the lead and does take the lead. So Ed Brand on lap 5 is your new race leader. Philip Maureen, it's all very close, it's all very concertinaed. I guess it's all very PFI, I suppose, the shape of the track dictating the way the races go. Ed Brand, your race leader, on lap 5. Briefly out of my sight, both on television screen and in the naked eye, coming back into view. Ed Brand continues to hold the advantage over Philip Maureen. Couple of drivers we've lost out there, can't identify who they are at the moment. Sweeping left underneath the bridge and over the bridge, then right down the grade, and we continue to see Ed Brand in the lead from Philip Maureen. 3rd place is Harry Webb, sitting comfortably, and Philip Maureen under real pressure, taking the, Ed Brand under real pressure, taking the sensible roll, and is a touch there on Philip Maureen, which knocks him back into 5th place. Well, that's the sort of thing that may get looked at a little bit later on. In the meantime, Ed Brand 1, Harry Webb 2, Mark Litchfield 3, as we come down towards the end of lap 6. The tightest of tight racing here at PFI. This is the start of lap 7. Ed Brand's in the lead from Harry Webb. Mark Litchfield is 3rd. 4th place is the Scotsman, Kyle Fowley. 5th place, it's Philip Maureen after that unfortunate little tag. And Mark Litchfield also getting himself a bit in the wars, and that means that Ed Brand and Harry Webb just pull away a little bit. Ed Brand looking over, well, I'm not going to say it anymore. Maybe I'll just say it once more. This is a sport where there is some incidental contact from time to time. Ed Brand leads, Harry Webb trying to wriggle inside him and does so. So Harry Webb is your new race leader. Ed Brand 2nd, Philip Maureen in 3rd place now. Mark Litchfield, or was it Mark Litchfield still in 3rd? Kyle Fowley going well, the Scotsman from Aberdeenshire. Sweeping round onto the home straight. Harry Webb is kart 222. Ed Brand is kart 202. Philip Maureen in 3rd place in kart 206. Charlie Eastwood. Driving standards flag to Ed Brand. The move on Philip Maureen has drawn a driving standards flag to Ed Brand. So, your 2nd place driver is on a driving standards flag. This is lap 8, and there's 16 laps in the race. So, 8 laps to go. Ed's not got to do anything naughty from here on in. Harry Webb continues to lead. Ed Brand continues to be 2nd. Charlie Eastwood continues to be 3rd. Philip Maureen is 4th. Martin Henkel-Mortensen it was that 5th. Mark Litchfield just drifted back to 6th, although he may have picked up a place since then. Kyle Fowley fell away a little bit on that lap, down to 9th, I think it was. Pierce Lehane up into 8th place, having been a little bit in the doldrums. Harry Webb dips his head against the, well, I can't say the roaring wind, but you know what I mean, the aerodynamics of the thing. 2nd place, Edward Brand. Ed will be aware of that driving standards flag. He's coming under pressure from Charlie Eastwood, and it's not always it's not always as gentle as it might be when Charlie and Ed are racing. Oh, Ken, just well, I can't say just call what you see, because I'm seeing a lot of bumping. Harry Webb leads. Ed Brand in 2nd place. Charlie Eastwood 3rd. Philip Maureen 4th. Mark Litchfield just the tiniest little bit detached in 5th place. Maybe detached is the wrong word, but just not as close to the man in front as the guys in 2nd, 3rd and 4th are. This is the start of lap 10. We set off on lap 10. Another driving standards flag being shown. Driving standards flag this time coming to Kyle Fowley. So the Aberdeenshire driver, Kyle Fowley, picking up a driving standards flag. He's gone through in 8th place. Harry Webb looks over his shoulder. Philip Maureen going from 4th to 3rd past Charlie Eastwood. And Mark Litchfield says, hey, I can read this track better than anybody. While you two are doing that, I'll take 2 places off you and go up to 3rd. And he has. Ed Brand leads. Harry Webb 2nd. Mark Litchfield 3rd. This is lap 10 of a 16-lap final. And there goes a further move. Was that Harry Webb going further forward, or was that Charlie Eastwood? Certainly looked like the Tony car that I saw. Coming back into view, it's Mark Litchfield. Mark Litchfield, who said, yes, I do read this track. Driving standards flags being flying. Car number 315 is John Stewart, the Scotsman making his debut on the Gillard. And John Stewart bidding to be another race leader. John Stewart not quite getting in front of Mark Litchfield. Well, John Stewart on the Gillard looks over his shoulder. He wants to outbrake Mark Litchfield, and he's done so. So John Stewart is your new leader, your latest leader. Charlie Eastwood is 2nd. Mark Litchfield is 3rd. In 4th place, it's car number 231, which is Pierce Lehane. The Australian has picked up from 8th place in 2.5 laps. So while these homespun drivers have been doing a little bit of tit for tat, the Aussies said, hey, I'm going to come amongst you. And he has. This is the start of lap 12 that's beckoning. John Stewart leads. Charlie Eastwood in 2nd place. Mark Litchfield 3rd. Pierce Lehane 4th. Going over the Litchfield Bridge. And still, John Stewart holds the advantage from Charlie Eastwood, but Charlie Eastwood goes into the lead. Late braking at the hairpin into the first hairpin of the Serpentine. And Charlie Eastwood and John Stewart just having a look at each other. Where do we go from here? Well, let's get away from Mark Litchfield is the first message, no doubt. We're on lap 12. Charlie Eastwood from Northern Ireland. John Stewart from Scotland. Mark Litchfield from pretty close to here at PF. So, Ireland, Scotland, England, the 1, 2 and 3. Northern Ireland's Charlie Eastwood has got a length over Scotland's John Stewart. Mark Litchfield, however, is not done. He's closing fast. And Ed Brand has not given up either of a minimum of a podium place, and better if he can. Charlie Eastwood looking over his shoulder again. Oh my, that wasn't very subtle, was it? Well, there's a lead of about 1 millimetre in favour of the Irishman over the Scot. Behind them, the Englishman looks over his shoulder. A little bit more of a margin behind Ed Brand before we get to Mark Litchfield in 4th place. Kyle Fowley I think it was, in 5th place, so 2 Scots in the top 5. Pierce Lehane has dropped a couple of places. The Aussie going down from 6th to 4th. This is the start of lap 14. So 3 laps to go from here. 3 laps to go. It's anybody's race. Any one of 4 or 5 drivers could win this one from here. At the moment, the advantage sitting with the world number 1, the reigning Rotax champion, Charlie Eastwood, from Nuts Corner, that fabulous circuit in Northern Ireland. He leads from John Stewart from the northeast of Scotland, Edward Brand from the home counties of England, Mark Litchfield, pretty much from PF Circuit, shall we say, and kart number 225, Kyle Fowley, also from the north of Scotland. Pierce Lehane not able to climb up from that 6th place. Joshua Collins, who started on the back row, is into 8th place. So from 33rd to 8th for Josh Collins in kart 316. Connor Jupp, who started only just a couple of rows in front of him, in 30th place. From 30th up to, well, he's in 8th place now because he's just gone past John Collins. Philip Morin dropping to the bottom of the top 10, if that doesn't sound too silly. Running in 10th place, Philip Morin. Mark Litchfield goes 2nd. So Ed Brand, your new leader. Mark Litchfield 2nd. John Stewart 3rd. Mark Litchfield turns round to John Stewart and says, come on, don't let's race each other, let's pull him back. Him being Ed Brand. This is going to be a blanket finish. You can feel it coming. This is lap 15, and we're near the end of lap 15. Edward Brand, well, he's got a bit of a margin, has Ed Brand. He's going to come over the line with, what, 1/10 of a second? 3/10 of a second. So Ed Brand, the charge now for the victory. Ed Brand sweeping left onto the Litchfield Bridge, pursued by the Litchfield of Litchfield Bridge fame, looking over his shoulder, but you'd be wise to kick on from here, Ed. Oh, and Ed Brand has more or less presented the lead to Mark Litchfield. Really don't understand that. It's just one of those facets of racing here at PF. It wriggles back through. Oh, and there's a big spin there. Charlie Eastwood, John Stewart, and kart 316, Joshua Collins. Well, there's an Englishman, a Scotsman, and an Irishman, and a Welshman, and they were all in that trundle. And Joshua Collins, who had gone up from the back row right up to the 7th or 8th place in top 10, goes out in sadness. But here's the victory. Ed Brand wins it. Mark Litchfield 2nd, Kyle Fowley 3rd, Connor Jupp 4th, Philip Morin 5th, Martin Henkel Mortensen 6th, Pierce Lehane 7th, Glenn Van Paris 8th, Oliver Myers 9th, Maxi Weinzel 10th. Well, what can you say? There's a lot of heartache there. Going out at the end was Harry Webb. Going out at the end was Josh Collins, I think. Harry Webb going out on lap 12, excuse me. But Josh Collins and John Stewart going out right at the very end. Charlie Eastwood does finish, but finishes 26th. Rather an unsatisfactory end to what had been a great race. We pause to take a breath, and we'll have a look at the finishing chart when it comes up on RGMMC TV screen. Well, on RGMMC TV we do see that result. It confirms the victory for Ed Brand in the Intrepid Driver programme. A victory has been beckoning for Ed, and it's come here at PFI. He wins from the local hero Mark Litchfield, and in 3rd place Kyle Fowley. Connor Jupp, who started back in 30th place, has come 4th. Philip Morin finished that one in 5th. Martin Henkel Mortensen was 6th. Pierce Lehane, who's had a rocky road this weekend, finishes 7th. Glenn Van Paris, the Belgian, 8th. Oliver Myers from England, 9th. And Maxi Weinzel of Austria completed the top 10. Joey van Splunteren, 11th, the Dutchman. Tobias Home, the Dane, 12th. Peter Betzel, Czech Republic, 13th. Charlie Turner, another Brit, 14th. Glenn van Druggenbroek, another Belgian, 15th. Eugene Denason from South Africa was 18th. Jack Weprin from the United States of America made the top 20. Antoine Bouton, who had found himself outside the top 30 at one stage, came back to 22nd. Ludwig Morin, 23rd place. But the hard luck stories, well, Charlie Eastwood, John Stewart and Josh Collins all involved in a late last lap incident, the result of which is Charlie Eastwood finishes 26th. John Stewart on his debut, after having made a really good debut, was unclassified, or 27th if you will. And Joshua Collins, I do want to mention him again. He started 33rd and had got himself up to 5th at one time, but late in the race, in the top 10, he was collected and is a non-finisher. Very, very unfortunate way to finish your weekend. Harry Webb, the championship leader,